Hey, this is Brenda Edelman. How are you? Let me just take a second to see if I can find this on my phone so I make sure that we are going live. This is really exciting. I'm going to be teaching about how to tell your story on stage for impact. I am someone who has toured the world with my show, my one woman show, doing keynotes, 10 states, 4 countries so far, including virtually, getting produced by theaters and organizations during the pandemic as well, virtually filmed. And I want to help you as an entrepreneur incorporate speaking into what you do so that you can sell more. So that if you're an author, you can naturally sell more books, things like that. So just give me a second here. I'm pretty new to this group. So excited to be here. I can't even believe that I didn't know the wealth that was in here, all the amazing women, what you do, and what is offered here. So hold on. Here it is. Let's see if it shows. There it is. Okay, great. Please say hello. Hey, Roz Edwards, how are you? I had no idea about this group really. I think I popped in about 2 years ago, maybe, and then didn't really look at it. And now I have all these amazing colleagues here. Roz was a speaker on a recent summit. I did Stop Writing, Start Selling, and is an amazing at PR. So I actually wanted to teach today on my proven system, taking your story and putting it on stage, but not like a typical talk, okay? Because I've had a lot of success telling my story, a very big story. So if you have a big story that you've lived through, definitely listen in. There are ways to share your story in a way that touches people, impacts people. And when you have the right product to sell, they will hire you. Absolutely, right? So, just in the last few years alone with the pandemic, oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad you're so amazing at PR and business building. So it was so great to have you at the summit. Um, so what was I saying? I totally lost my train of thought. Uh, totally lost my train of thought. It's still kind of early here in California, I will say. Um, a lot of people, oh, big stories. Okay. I have had people hire me for some of the things I do. Like I'm known mainly for my storytelling, but I also teach video, uh, confidence and stuff. I had someone who heard my story like 15 years earlier. And then when I came out with this program to, brand yourself on video, she hired me because of the way I told my story, because of the impact. I've helped over 200 clients get on stage in the last 2 years with TED style talks and things like that. I took a back seat to presenting, performing myself since the pandemic for the most part, which is why I was also able to have that many people help develop their stories. But here's the thing, a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs are doing the same thing they're taught, which is kind of formulaic. And there's nothing wrong with a formula to start, just like there's nothing wrong with AI. AI is great, but it's a start. If you've lived through something really big, and I have taught so many people, so I know, and I used to be a forgiveness coach many years before this. I know what people go through, and you're making a mistake if you think that you can't put your personal story into your business story. You want your personal story into your business story, but the process I teach is about finding the theme of your life so that whenever you're speaking, your heart is right there. Your vulnerability is right there. But I have a 7-step process. I want to go through it quickly today because it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, I'll say my story, but and I'll talk about this later in one of the steps, or the event in my life. So you want to look at your life. I want this to be actionable, right? I want you to look at your life and say, what is the 1 or 2 big events that have happened in your life that literally changed you, that you thought they would break you, but they broke you open. You don't have to be completely healed to put this into your business story, but you want to be healing while you're sharing. Oh my God, if I would have waited to heal from that big event to share, I would not be where I am today. But sharing a big vulnerable story, which is like that catchphrase too, if you're not healed or healing at the same time, you're actually going to feel miserable. And what you're going to do is go away from the business, go away from the book writing, go away. Like you're going to be scared of visibility if you're not healing at the same time. It's what I did. I took 2 years off, got a master's in spiritual psychology after the first time I put my one woman show up. I didn't know what was going on at the time, right? So that's why the process, the second part, the second step is about doing your inner work. But let me go through it because I know I have only a short amount of time here. And I would be so happy if I get comments on this afterwards saying, oh my God, I never saw it that way. Oh, I can share this and this is how it's connected to my business. Like, feel free to ask me questions as well, okay? Basic formula and then a big edit so it suits you. Absolutely. And the great part of the way that I teach is you're healing yourself every time you share. And at one point, it just becomes a gift to the audience. Roz says, I have many stories like that, especially when I start processing them. Yes, exactly. Okay, so I'm going to say the big event because also a lot of, I work with, obviously I can work with anyone. And oftentimes there are two type of people. There are the people who feel like their story is too big, nobody can relate. And then there's the other part. There's the people who feel like they compare themselves to others and think they have they don't have a significant story. And that's not true either. There's always a story there. So, and I do have a process. Another time, maybe I'll come in or teach a class on how you find the story with my process. But let me give you the steps because this is what will set you apart. Okay, my story, my event. An event is not a story, which I'll talk about after. In 1995, my father, who I adored, I was definitely daddy's little girl growing up. I was an adult at this time, though, shot my mother in the head and killed her. And if that wasn't enough, within a month, he moved in with my aunts, my mother's sister, and then married her. He only served 2.5 years in prison, but, that's the event. Here's the thing. You may have an event like that because I've worked with so many people, suicides in the family, people who've tried to take their own life but didn't. Like, there is so much heartache. There is so much abuse that people have lived through, and we're taught, and to survive, we push it down. I'm not talking about putting an open wound out. I'm definitely not talking about that. And you'll see in the second part of this process. But what you've lived through is important. You know why? Because when I lived through what I did and nobody was talking about it, I felt so alone. And that was what caused a big part of my depression. What I see and what I witness from my own sharing of my story and my clients, because I've produced them on stages, is the healing in the audience, because all of a sudden you're the brave one who tells your story, but there's someone in the audience that realizes they're not alone, that either they relate to the story or more often than that, they relate to the humanity within it. So my story is so big, I thought, who's going to relate to that? But the truth is, the circumstances are not important except in the crafting of the story, which I'll talk about in one of my steps. It's the humanity. It's what everyone lives through. It's the betrayal. It's the sudden loss. It's the shock. It's how do you find yourself? How do you love yourself again afterwards? That goes through everything. Roz says, love your work. Thank you. Thank you, Roz. Hey, Lynn. Oh my God, there's more people in here. Fantastic. Okay, that I know. And Lynn is one of my clients and has an amazing story coming up in our open mic. So at the end of this month. Okay, so amazing story. A lot of my clients come to me after, on average, 5 to 7 years of wanting to tell their stories, but they don't. But many also have wanted to tell their story for decades, but they didn't understand this healing piece of it. Okay, so let me just go into. Let's see. I don't really want to jump around, but I'm going to say one thing about the story I just shared. That is an event. That happening with my family is an event. That is not a story. It is a news story. It's like someone would be like, oh my God, that happened. But that's not going to make someone hire me or follow me, right? So you have to, in the writing of your story, have a beginning, middle, and end. And what I will say is I didn't just say, my father took my mother's life, married her sister. I actually did do a beginning. I said I was daddy's little girl. So I put something in there that created context. And then my one woman show, my keynotes are often about the power of forgiveness and how I found the way to forgive. That's a very unique part of the process, finding your message. What is your message? It's not my message. That's what I love about teaching other people, right? I can only teach my message. But let me go into let me go into the let me go into the 7 steps, okay? So, step 1 is finding your passionate message, which is a good segue. If you're not passionate about it and it's not connected to your why, you're going to either get tired of sharing it, you're going to be uninspired. When critics come in, or trolls, or other people, you're going to back down and you're going to change course. But if you tap into the theme of your life, like mine now being about forgiveness, how did I find forgiveness? How did I love myself again? That wasn't the theme, by the way, of my show or my speaking in the beginning. It was, will I ever love and trust again? So this is like an ever evolving process, which is so amazing. Okay. So, of course, I was also a coach for many years focusing on forgiveness. I have I'm in several forgiveness books. I have a forgiveness book. So this is also a business message. But like you can ask questions like whenever I do guest spots, I can literally find how you connect your personal story or even find your story to your business. Like it's just a matter of finding the theme of your life and asking the right questions. Okay. So I want you to put your personal life story into your business story and get that why. I'm going to give an example of a why just so that it sparks your creativity. It can be many different things. We all are evolving. Sometimes it happens very quickly. Yes. Yes. And sometimes slow. I mean, 20 years after my mom was killed, I had a huge breakthrough around my father and around my aunt. Like, I'm always open. Like, I never say I got it all. I always get worried when people are like, I got it. It's like, the universe will give you more lessons. Okay. I want to go through this and I'm very conscious of time. I want to at least give you the steps. But okay, so an example of a passionate message and a why. When I was starting, and it makes no sense, it doesn't have to logically. I wanted to save my mother. I loved my mother. I wanted to share my story so nobody else would, it then morphed into so that nobody else would die at the hands of someone that says they love them. Okay? But it's what is your why? Okay, step number 2 is do the inner work. It is really important. The first time I did my show, way back, I got a standing ovation, people laughed, people cried, and I would literally go home and be absolutely miserable because way back, it was before my father had passed, and I was in this love-hate, like I was trying to work it out with writing, and I was even, the thing about presenting your story or performing your story, you get to actually heal other parts. The way I teach, you actually jump into characters, whether it's a keynote or a talk, so that if I'm playing my father, I can't play him as a villain because a good actor does not play himself or herself as a villain. So I got to have an in with compassion. Okay, let me keep going. Do your inner work. This is so that when you're being vulnerable, I remember I had this woman reach out to me because she really wanted to tell her vulnerable story. And then she said, but I did because this coach told me to do it. And it didn't land like I thought it did. And she was a mess. She was so upset. And so she decided she wasn't going to do it. And I was like, wait a second. It's because you have to do the inner work. Like instead, she did that thing of retreating, right? So she didn't realize there's a process to this. So you want to be careful. You want to do the inner work. And also with the inner work, what happens is then that ego part of you that's like, I can't be so big. I can't be too much. It's unsafe. You do the inner work. I have a master's in spiritual psychology. So this is where I learned the foundation of what I do. But I did everything to feel better. I did shamanic journeys. I did acupuncture, and then the master's program was on top of that. But your spirit, your soul wants to soar. And when you do the inner work, that is the bigger energy than the ego that tries to stay small, right? At some point for me, it felt worse being small and contracted. It was almost like I couldn't breathe. I had to tell my story. Okay, next one. Um, let's see what else I can say about that. Yeah, and then you'll handle the resistance and the up leveling and being seen and all that. Okay, step number 3 is crafting your story so that to be heard. Oh no, sorry. Of course, to be heard. To be hired. People say there's no competition. I do not agree. I think there's a lot of competition. It doesn't mean that everybody's not unique in their own thing, but maybe it's coming from New York City. Maybe it's coming from being reviewed. Um, but I teach my clients because I don't want them to get the review of their peers or the potential clients and lose out because they are not standing out. Like I see so many talks that are just, I don't care. If I don't care about the person and I'm not moved, they're not memorable, and I'll hire somebody else who does the same thing. So my goal is always to help you activate your audience, and there's a way to do that in both writing and presenting. And presenting doesn't always have to be on a stage. It could be literally in an interview so that you're invited back all the time. I'm invited back, okay? Because you this way when you're really engaged and you don't have any of that like mind clutter going on and you're clear and you know what you're gonna say, you make the host look good as well. Okay. Craft your story. So you want that beginning, middle, and end. And you must turn the event into a captivating story. Otherwise, it's just like an autobiography, and that does not ignite your audience. Okay, so next is step 4, performing, presenting your material. Again, this can be in interviews, this can be in a networking event, this can be on a stage, this can be on a TED stage, conferences, all the things that everybody wants to do, right? You can, I say, finish a short piece, like a 5-minute piece, before you go for an 18-minute or an hour long, like what my piece is. First of all, I've presented everywhere from like 90 seconds to 75 minutes. So it's great to have different timings and stuff like that. But if you put a 5-minute piece together that is excellent, you will have a sense of accomplishment. A lot of times people don't do things because it's too big. So I say just do that little bit, 5-minute piece. And get feedback. It's so important to get feedback. There's lots of different ways to get feedback. You can go into a writer's group, you can go to a meetup, you can work with a coach, obviously. I say be careful who you share something with when you're first starting, because people can suppress you. They don't even realize it. Like sometimes people are sharing something about their life. They bring it to, let's say, a sibling who they think, oh, they're so, they're going to be so, so encouraging. But then that sibling might be like, feeling like they got to protect them and they don't want them to be sad, and that is like not good for the muse. Okay, let me go really quickly over the other couple of things because I do want to share what I have coming up. Let's see. 5 is rewriting and rehearsing. Please do at least one rewrite and rehearse before you tell your stories. Like, I know there's this whole big thing, and I teach video as well, like go live, just go live. I actually don't do that. Rehearse before you go live. If you are nervous, sometimes it's just because you have to do it more. That's absolutely true. But then practice in a group that is safe, right? Not in public, because again, you are entrepreneurs, you're business owners. You do not want to lose that first chance, right? You get in front of a potential client. If you're not confident, then they're going to sense it and they won't even know why they don't want to hire you when you could be such an expert, but you're just nervous at doing video. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You write and rehearse. And if you don't know how to rehearse, that's the other thing, get help so that you know how to rehearse, so that you're not doing the wrong thing over and over. But one of the things about being nervous is just not having the skill, right? So there's either not having the experience or the skill. So you get the skill. Okay. 6, promote your talk or show. Really important. There's so many different ways that you can promote, obviously on social media, obviously live videos, obviously on you can do collaborations, you can do interviews, you can do graphics. Like there's so many different ways. Old school, put flyers up, do events, things like that. And then like don't rely on someone else. You are the best promoter of yourself. And then the last one is over delivering to be unforgettable. Like I hope right here I have given you so many practical things that you are like, I got to find out more. Oh my God. And I have a question, please definitely give me your questions. So what I will say about this, over delivering, examples of this are that, like, I've been in several theater festivals and I've put a press kit together. When it was like in the materials from the festival, put a press kit together, but most didn't. I remember running into a reporter a couple of years after my show. And she's like, "Oh, I remember you because you actually had old school back then press kit for me in a beautiful red envelope, and nobody else did that. Make it easy for people to promote you, right?" And let's see if there's anything else. Um, there's ways to over deliver in your performance and in your writing, like squeeze every bit of goodness out. So when I'm talking about like formulas, get the structure. If you know, I teach structure too, but get that. Yay, I'm glad it's an amazing live. Thank you, Roz. um, but then you must put in you. I want to know who you are. I want you. You are enough. If you can know who you are, and a lot of people are doing their own inner work, share something of substance with us. Show us your heart. Show us something that's not just, I'm a professional, right? Because that will be unforgettable. All right, let me move into what I have for you guys. Uh, because I have a free masterclass tomorrow. I'm co-hosting with, I think Nicole's here, Nicole Tuxbury, who's my co-host. We just led a summit called Stop Writing, Start Selling for authors, coaches, and speakers can start making money. We know so many people who are in those categories and they're not really making money. Certainly with books, like maybe they're even at bestseller status, but they're not making any money. So we did this summit, which is incredible, which I talked about. Roz spoke on it, and on PR and getting press for your business. But we decided to put together, because many people missed that summit, or there were just, oh my God, we had over 30 speakers. We put together, let me pull it up. It's hard to talk so fast. 5 ways to monetize your career as an author. Okay, so it's 90 minutes. It's tomorrow, Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to give you at least 5 actions that you can take immediately that will make you money as an author, where you may not be thinking about making more money from your book yet. What pieces you're going to learn what pieces you need in place to book more stages and get paid to speak. And the number one thing that you need to know to set yourself up for a breakthrough in book sales. Okay, I don't want to shut this. I want to make sure I'm still here with you guys. I'm afraid to shut any of these. Oh, there I am. Okay, good. Let's see. It is at stopwritingstartselling.com/masterclass, which I'll put in there as well, all lowercase. Stopwritingstartselling.com/masterclass. And there was something else I wanted to read. Let's see if I can find it. All right. Oh, and you know, this is interesting. Actually, I'm going to go off. I'm going to get more personal. When we were doing this summit, right, and we were hosting it, there were so many things I learned, because I have a book. I have it. Oh, it's underneath my router. Okay, I have a book about forgiveness. But the truth is, I wrote it back before it was like all these launches and stuff were happening. I was right, because I would do my show or I do a speaking engagement, and then people wanted to know my process more. You know, I do a workshop. I'm sorry, I do speaking or my show and a workshop on the same topic. By the way, that is a way for you to make money with your book, is by doing a talk and doing a workshop around the topic. And I wrote an ebook at the time, and at the time I was selling it for like $15, so that people could take what they learned in my workshop, which is my method, and they could take it home and they could continue to heal. But I never really launched it. It is on Kindle, selling for something insane like $3, right? But I never officially launched it. And what I learned in the summit, and this is also something we'll be talking about tomorrow, is that you can relaunch. Like, if you shouldn't think that because you launched it once, let's say there's a lot of people who do collaborative books and stuff like that, because you launched it and you didn't make much money, that you can't just launch it again. Now, I think you should have your own book. You should always have your own book, because that's more authority. I mean, that what you'll get with the collaborative book is bestseller status and you'll get community. But if you write your own book, then you have more room for people to get to know you, get to know your process and things like that. And of course, you could be selling within the book and stuff like that. But you definitely want to I totally lost my totally lost. Oh, you want to relaunch? You want to just do a campaign? You want to put that book everywhere? I just saw someone sending out free copies. You can put it. I'm giving you a little bit of tips. This wasn't going to be in the thing tomorrow. You could you know, do contests with your book and stuff like that. Okay, I have to go. It is a half an hour. Thank you so much for being here with me. Come to the completely free event tomorrow, the masterclass. We can't wait to help you. We can't wait to help you get your message out there because you deserve it. Okay. Bye, everyone. Write your comments underneath. Brenda Edelman.